Thank you, Prime Minister. Chris Mason, BBC News. Are you saying to your MPs bluntly on all of this, back me or sack me?
The Tory party are infighting like rats in a sack, with greasy Robert Jenrick resigning as Suella Braverman makes a bid to be the next leader from the sidelines.
But, Madam Deputy Speaker, crossings are down is not the same as stopping the boats.
We have Rishi Sunak here being questioned about a ridiculous move to get Rwanda recognised as a safe country to send illegal immigrants to, even though the courts have deemed that it isn't safe.
What I'm saying, not just to my MPs, but to the entire country, is that I share their frustration. Right? My patience with this has worn thin.
Well, guess what? My patience has been worn thin too, because again, this is against the backdrop of a cost of living crisis. If only they spent a fraction of the time talking about the NHS or how they're going to help people who are struggling to eat, it would be something, but they're banging on and on about illegal immigration. So here's George Monbiot hitting the nail square on the head.
Of all the hills to die on, this has got to be the most ridiculous. I mean, it's just absurd. The whole point of the Rwanda policy is not to try to solve anything. It's to performatively beat up some of the most vulnerable and traumatized people on earth in order to distract attention from the government's own failures.
We've got to end the legal merry-go-round that has blocked us from getting our Rwanda scheme up and running. That's what this legislation does. That's what the new treaty that the Home Secretary signed this week does. And it will mean unequivocally that Rwanda is safe and there should be no more blocks to our ability to get people on planes and send them to Rwanda, because that is critical.
And Johnny says this is giving the working people of this country something. The only thing this is giving the working people of this country is to show them that somebody else is worse off than they are, because that somebody is being performatively beaten up by the government. That's the point of the policy.
Prime Minister, do you see the reality of what is happening here? You've lost control of your party, and this has become a confidence issue, not in Parliament, but in you. Do you accept that, and will you call an election if you lose these votes?
And we have this ridiculous new bill, which is the first one I've ever seen, which tries to legislate the nature of reality. It says, we will legislate that Rwanda is a safe country. Regardless of whether Rwanda is or is not a safe country, we will put it in the law that it is a safe country. You might as well have a bill which legislates that the moon is made of green cheese.
That's because this is ridiculous what's going on, right? And we're doing something about it. Now, I want to finish the job. Right? And finishing the job means getting this legislation on the statute books and getting this scheme up and running. I am determined to see that through, because I think this is a top priority for the country. It's a basic matter of fairness.
We have reached the point now, after 13 years of these fiascos, of total absurdity. They're not even intending to put this into implementation. They don't intend to make this a viable policy. They're just desperately throwing up clouds of dust in order to distract from the absolute catastrophe that this government has become for the great majority of the people of this country.
Click here for Nick Robinson painting a clear picture of what Suella Braverman is like.